12, Information Security Standards. Our learning objectives are to learn how to apply information security standards and U.S. compliance laws related to real-world applications in both the private and public sector. Some key concepts that we'll cover are the International Information Security Standards and their impact on IT infrastructures, ISO 17799, ISO IEC 27002, and then the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard, otherwise known as PCI requirements. So information security standards, they are necessary to create and maintain a competitive market for hardware and software vendors and keep businesses safe. Guarantees compatibility between products from different countries, and it provides guidelines to ensure that products in today's computing environments work together. So we have various standards organizations. One of the more well-known is NIST. It's the National Institute of Standards and Technology for the United States. International Organization for Standards, ISO. International Electrotechnical Commissions, or IEC. The World Wide Web Consortium, the W3C. The Internet Engineering Task Force, or IETF. The IEEE, or Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. International Telecommunications Union Telecommunications Sector, ITU-T. The American National Standards Institute, or ANSI, and then ETSI, Cybersecurity Technical Community, or TC Cyber. The National Institute of Standards and Technologies, or NIST, it is a federal agency within the U.S. Department of Commerce. Its mission is to provide U.S. innovation and industrial competitiveness by advancing measurement, science, standards, and technologies in ways that enhance economic security and improve our quality of life. They provide standards for measurements and technology on which nearly all computing devices rely. And they maintain the atomic clocks that keep the United States official times, and they maintain a list of standards and publications of general interest to the computer security community, which is extremely helpful. It's just very a wealth of knowledge and information. If you're working in the IT security field at all, you need to be familiarized with NIST. International Organizations for Standards, ISO, it's a non-governmental international organization. Its goal is to develop and publish international standards for nearly all industries. It has a network of 161 national standards institutes. It serves as a bridge between public and private sectors. And the best known ISO standard is the Open Systems Interconnect, or OSI, reference model. And here's the OSI 7-layer model. We just saw that earlier. But the ISO is responsible for the OSI. The IEC works closely with ISO. It is a preeminent organization for developing and publishing internal standards for technologies related to electrical and electronic devices and processes. And standards address a wide variety of areas: power generation, semiconductors, telecommunications, physical computers, and network hardware. The World Wide Web Consortium is the main international standards organization for the World Wide Web. It develops protocols and guidelines that unify the web and ensure its long-term growth. Standards developed or endorsed include cascading style sheets, CSS, HTML, the Simple Object Access Protocol, or SOAP, and Extensible Markup Language, XML. All of these are very critical to the development of the Internet and the World Wide Web. Internet Engineering Task Force, IETF, develops and promotes Internet standards, focuses on engineering aspects of the Internet communication, works closely with the Wide Web Consortium and the ISO IEC, and has a collection of work groups with which each group addresses a specific topic. Requests for comments, RFCs. They are documents that range from a simple memo to several standard documents. RFC models allow for input from many sources and encourages collaborations, peer reviews. Only some RFCs specify standards. RFCs never change. RFCs may originate with other organizations, and RFCs that define formal standards have 4 stages: a proposed standard, a draft standard, a standard, and best current practice. So let's just see here. About the best I could do. They detail how things are supposed to work. So like if you wanted to look and see how email is supposed to work, there's probably an RFC on how email works, and it'll have all the technical information about email and how it's supposed to work, especially if it's a standard. If there's standards, it really details the amount of how it works, and you can find out if a vendor is not performing towards a standard by reading an RFC. Internet Architecture Board, IAB. It's a subcommittee of the IETF and serves as an advisory board to the Internet Society, and it's comprised of independent researchers and professionals who have a technical interest in the well-being of the Internet, and provides oversight for architecture, Internet protocols and procedures, processes used to create standards, editorial and publication procedures for RFCs, and confirmation of the IETF chair and technical area directors. IEEE is an international nonprofit organization that's focused on developing and distributing standards that relate to electricity and electronics, has the largest number of members of any technical professional organization in the world, supports 39 societies that focus activities on specific technical areas, including magnetics, photonics, and computers, and provides training and educational opportunities covering a wide number of engineering topics, and standards are managed by the IEEE Standards Association. Common IEEE 802 standards working groups, so 802.1, higher layer LAN protocols, Ethernet is 802.3, then wireless 802.11, and then you have various other standards as well, like broadband mobile wireless access 802.20. International Telecommunications Union Telecommunications Sectors. It's a United Nations agency responsible for managing and promoting information and technology issues. It performs all ITU standard work and is responsible for ensuring the efficient and effective production of standards covering the fields of telecommunications for all nations. It divides its recommendations into 26 separate series, each bearing a unique letter of the alphabet. For example, switching and signaling recommendations are in the Q series. And here are some the X.800 and X.849 is security. Recommendations in this series address security issues as they relate to different networking layers. And various other like X.1100 to 1199 ensures the application services are deployed in a secured manner. And here are just a few more continuing. Cloud computing, the 1600 to 1699. Then ANSI, the American National Standards Institute, strives to ensure the safety and health of consumers and the protection of the environment. It oversees the creation, publication, and management of many standards and guidelines that directly affect businesses in nearly every sector. It's composed of government agencies, organizations, educational institutions, and individuals, and produces standards that affect nearly all aspects of IT, but primarily software development and computer system operations. The ETSI Cybersecurity Technical Committee develops standards for information and communication technologies that are commonly adopted by member countries in the EU, and standards cover both wired and various wireless communication technologies. And Cybersecurity Technical Committee, called TC Cyber, centralizes all cybersecurity standards within ETSI committees. And standards focus on security issues related to internet and business communications it transports. So the ISO 17799 was withdrawn. It's a former international security standard, and it's been replaced. So, right, and it's a comprehensive set of controls, identify security controls needed for information security in business environments. And it goes over some 10 more. It had 10 major sections. So now it's been superseded by 27002, and directs its recommendations to management and security professionals responsible for information security management systems, and expands on its predecessor by adding 2 new sections and reorganizing several others. And so now instead of 10 sections, we have 12 sections, such as risk assessment, security policies, access controls, business continuity management, and compliance. Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard, PCI DSS, better known as PCI, credit cards. If your company deals with credit cards and you actually deal with the actual credit card number, you're going to deal with PCI. It is an international standard for handling transactions involving payment cards. It develops, publishes, and maintains the standards, and it's formed by some of the largest payment card vendors who created the standard to protect payment card users from fraud and to prevent legislative requirements on the industry. So they imposed their own regulations before governments decided to put some in, and it's a pretty rigorous standard. And it requires layers of control to protect all payment card related information as it is processed, transmitted, or stored, and applies to all organizations that participate in any of the processes surrounding payment card processing. And that is our chapter 12. I will see you in chapter 13.